If you are listening to us on the Flow podcast, which of course Flowman is.
Oh, it is Flow Sport.
Flow Sport.
Yeah,
that was all. Okay. Flow Sport. I got all excited over not much there, but Flow Sport is great. You can watch and listen to, in fact, the Flow Friday Night Sports Show on demand. If you're listening to us on the replay on Saturday morning in between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., good morning to you. I hope you enjoyed the tennis last night. And if you're listening to us live across our Flow network, we love you.
We do, and we love bringing up things that are happening in country sport. And you wrote an article last weekend after a meeting that was held in a very interesting situation at Woodner Thursday week ago, so 8 days ago. It was a dynamite meeting, but no one was talking about it. And so you made some inquiries, I made some phone calls too. Between us, we got some information, and you reported on last Saturday a pretty explosive situation where one of our football leagues, the Midwest Football League in the part of the Eyre Peninsula, the central part of the Eyre Peninsula, looked like it was teetering, and players, clubs, everyone wanting to know where things were at with amalgamations of clubs and different people being talking about them going here, there and everywhere.
Well, what we know is there is a new merged club. That is a given, and that is Central Eyre and Woodney United. They have merged now to be called Central Eyre United. Jared Sampson will be the first person that has been prepared to go on the record, and he will join us on the program in the second hour of the show. Flowman, I've spoken to about 15 people from around, and I'm not making that up. I'm not exaggerating in any way, shape or form. I would have spoken to at least 15 different people, and 14 of them have not been prepared to come on the record, and I'm okay with that because people have got to live and work in these areas, but it just goes to show you the passion that people have this with. And when you speak to that many people who aren't prepared to come on the record, it's kind of a little difficult to separate the fact from the chaff. But Jared Sampson's going to help us do that in the second hour of the program today.
Okay, a merger was declared by the two clubs, Central Eyre and Woodney United. It, in the end, caused the other clubs through a process that went on as to whether or not the other clubs would have 4 teams that would be competitive on the park. And when they put back to Central Eyre United, the new football club, that they didn't believe, the 3 of them at least didn't believe that would be the case, then a vote was taken. It appears that part of the vote, there were 2 votes. One was for the Central Eyre United to no longer play in Midwest. Now, that was the interesting thing at the meeting, and that was voted by the other delegates at 8-0.
There's a misconception out there, and I think my article played a little bit into it, that Central Eyre United had actually pulled out of the competition. That's not actually accurate, and Jared's going to tell us more about that in the second hour of the show today. Now, when they voted the second time, it was to continue on in Midwest football and netball, and that is the 4 remaining clubs, the West Coast Hawks, Western Districts, and Elliston. And, of course, the last one there,
Yes, it's the West Coast Hawks and Wirrallah.
Wirrallah, thank you very much. Wirrallah, the West Coast Hawks, Western Districts and Elliston voted to continue to play in Midwest. But since that time,
we made some inquiries, and Far West Football have informed us that it was the West Coast Hawks and Wirrallah who quite openly have expressed that they had met with Far West Football. We haven't got a resolution or an answer at this point in time as to whether those 2 clubs or one of those 2 clubs or both clubs would join Far West Football this year. That will unfold. We also know that on Tuesday night there was a meeting that was conducted with the Western District Football Club about where they would go this year. And they are as keen as mustard, I'm told, by their people to field a team. Now, clearly, we both know that this club is right in the middle of where the league is. It's the central-most club. And if the league is torn apart by both sides, if you think about it in that point of view, then this would be the club that would be at the greatest disadvantage as to where it would play in the future. They are no way in the world in a position where they want to fold, and they're committed to playing 2021 in Midwest as was voted at the meeting. They have a full A-grade side that they can put on the park. They're still getting players that they think will come together for their B-grade footy side. They've got some Colts. They have 5 full netball teams, and their position, their priority is not about just football and netball. It's about their community. It's about the expectation from their community that they keep it together. They've got 50 kids in this club. Now, that's girls and boys. It's a lot of kids, and so they've got a lot to offer in the future. So I spoke at length to them about their priority. Very clear from them is that from their Tuesday night meeting that they wish to remain as a standalone club. Now, that doesn't mean that if the league breaks up that they wouldn't look at options to go elsewhere in amalgamations. However, they at this point in time, because that's where things have got to, are waiting to see what other clubs choose to do about the Midwest competition. They are committed to Midwest football in 2021, and beyond that, well, that's anyone's guess as to what happens. And in the next week, we need to find out where the status of Midwest football actually is in order for clubs like Western Districts and Elliston to know where they go this year.
The Flow Friday Night Sports Show will continue in the next hour. Jared Sampson coming up to talk about the new merger. We're going to have a look at what's going on in cricket across Victoria and New South Wales. It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, repeated 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. Get the podcast at Flow Sports.